What's up? I don't know what it's like where you live, but right now where I am, it feels like summer. I got my shades drawn, I got air condition blowing. I'm just trying to stay cool and not melt. In order to do that though, I need to get out my house. It's been a few days and I haven't been to the bike shop and I'm just anxious to turn a wrench. So I'm gonna head up to the bike shop now, and later on tonight when I get back and it's cooled down, I'm gonna get to epoxy. I gotta put another coat on Ghost Cruiser cause the first coat, it's alright. It's not my best, but it's alright. I gotta put another coat on it just to make sure that it is sealed for the winter. So let's head on out. Welcome to the Cruiser Racer channel. I'm Rebel Lion of the Electron Rebels, and this is my creative space. I call it the Builder's Corner. The Builder's Corner is the home for electric bike enthusiasts. And in this space, we're always on the hunt for the perfect canvas. A canvas for me is a bike frame. Nothing excites me more than turning something old into something new. So if this appeals to you and you like what we like too, then subscribe to this channel. Here in the Builder's Corner, you'll learn about bike mechanics and DIY custom e-bike builds. Now, let's get to the show. And here we are at the bike shop. Today I'm tasked with stripping this 70s style road bike. With this bike, there's not a whole lot that we can save. Look at the frame, for example. This frame is massive. I mean, look at the triangle right there in the middle. This bike is made for a very tall person, and there aren't very many people who can just walk in and purchase this bike used, because not too many people can mount this frame. So I'm going to be stripping it for what we can save. So working my way from front to the back, starting with the handlebars. These drop handlebars we're not going to keep. There's not too many people who come in looking for drop handlebars. However, we can salvage the gear shifters and the brake levers. So this is my first time seeing this type of foam on the drop handlebars. Usually these things are wrapped in tape, and this has this retro foam that you only find on bikes from the 70s and 80s. The first challenge is taking off these shifters. I'm having a hard time with taking these things off. As you see, I have to wind up dousing it with WD-40 in order to get the screw inside of it loose. And the foam on these handlebars is so worn, now I have to grab a pair of shears in order to cut through them. The foam on the left handle, it comes off much easier than the right. Here comes a lesson from Robbie. We both agree that these brakes are a bit different. I've never seen anything like this style before with cantilevers. He has, because he's pretty familiar with bikes, but this is different for me. So aside from keeping the shifters and the brake levers, we're also going to keep these brakes. So one thing that I can say about the cantilevers is that they are quick to release. It's easy to release these brakes in order to take off a tire or adjust, but other than that, they're a pain in the ass to work with. I really do not like cantilever brakes. The saddle looks like it's in great condition, so we're going to go ahead and keep that, as well as the seat post. The saddle feels like it hasn't been moved in ages, so it is totally jammed at this point. Gratefully, with a little lubricant, makes it all easier. For storage purposes, we usually separate the seat tube from the saddle. So I'm just going to go ahead and loosen this all up and release the seat tube and its tighteners from the rail. The shop can also benefit from the derailleurs, so I'm going to get the derailleur off as well as the kickstand. So my next attempt is to try to salvage the chain ring, but the issue that we've been running into here at the shop lately is our crank removal tools have all been stripped. It's hard to try to thread them into the chain rings, the bottom bracket, I should say, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to salvage this one this time. What's happening, E-nthusiasts? It's late in the evening, and let's just say that my sleep schedule is completely thrown off for the next couple days. So while I'm awake, I'm going to go ahead and get something done. So the project that I'm going to work on right now will be the second coat of epoxy for the wood panniers on Ghost Cruiser. My first attempt at mixing epoxy was an epic failure. I mixed it too quickly, mixed it too fast, and I mixed it so fast that it started to heat inside of the cup that I was mixing it in, and it started to stick together right inside the cup. Like I couldn't even apply it to the panniers because it was so bad. At all, tons of bubbles in it. It was bad. However, my second attempt at mixing epoxy, a lot better. I went slower while mixing, and made sure I got all the cloudiness out of the mix and very few bubbles, so it was a better batch. My third batch should be much better than my first and second, now that I know and understand what it is that I need to do while mixing. So I'm gonna go ahead, show you what I need to do, even the first coat wasn't that great. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not that great. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it is that I need to do. Then I'm gonna go get started on mixing the third batch of epoxy. And before anything else, I also have to make sure that I clean the boxes, any debris or dust on it, because it has been out since the first coat. So you don't want to apply glue to a dirty surface. So let me go ahead and show you what's going on. Then I'm gonna get to work. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. This is the right side of the box, and I don't know if you can tell if the gloss is showing too well through the camera, but this was the first attempt at epoxy on the box. The strokes, they're not that great. I used a brush, or a sponge brush, instead of a bristled brush. And I mean, you're supposed to use something like that, you know, just so that you don't have any bristles getting stuck with the glue. One thing I'm not really happy about is the way the sticker is on. I mean, the sticker's fine. It just, you can still tell that it didn't bond very well before I started gluing, but that's nothing I can change at the moment or right now. But this is the left side, the top part. You can see it here. It just kind of looks like it's wet, in my opinion, and I could totally do better than that. More practice, you know, it's just kind of what I gotta do. And then here we are on the right side, and you can see right here that it's a bit spotty. I mean, I really don't know what that is at this point, and if I could get it any better. But even up here, the strokes, the brush strokes, they were thinly applied and not as thick as the rest. You can still see a bit of the tape adhesive not quite bonded perfectly, but you know, it's what it is. Up top, once again, it just looks wet. So I'm gonna see how well I can do at making this a little better, and it may not get better. It may not come out any better. Just coat it. At the end of the day, that's what I was going for, is just making sure the wood was coated and taking it from a porous surface to a non-porous surface, because we don't want this wood swelling up during the rainy season. So that's what it is. So now you see my amateur work, and it's time to do it, hopefully get it better. But like I said, it may not, and either way, could be better, could be worse, but I'm happy with it. That's Trent from Trenton Alley. Anyhow, let me get to it. The method to mixing epoxy is a 1-to-1 ratio. And you want to use gloves because it's a chemical. You don't want to get it on your hands. I'm going to just use one on my mixing hand, because this hand shouldn't be touching any epoxy. It should just be holding the cup. So I'm going to start with using the resin, which is the lighter substance, or the lighter liquid. This flows out kind of like honey. And I'm going to do a tablespoon of resin, and then a tablespoon of hardener. I've got measuring cups here, and it's good to mix it with a wood stick. All right, so that's my resin. Here's my hardener. Hardener, oh wait. I got that backwards. The resin is thicker than the hardener. Either way, let's get it going. Now that flows like honey. where the hardener was kind of like liquid peanut butter. Where's my measuring? There it is. There we go. All right. Now, here's where I screwed up the last time. I was mixing it way too fast, but you need to slowly mix it, slow turns. And you want to constantly keep scraping the bottom, because you kind of want to mix this all evenly. That's the point. And I think there's something on the inside of that. Not good. Don't know what that is, but it can be in there. Let's see. Handy dandy alcohol. And you're supposed to keep alcohol around in case you do get it on yourself or on a surface. Alcohol will clean that up real quickly. All right. Slow stirs. You want to slow stir it for 3 to 6 minutes, or 3 to 7 minutes, as it says on the instructions. And it's gone from being clear to now a bit cloudy. Let's get the camera closer. So the objective is to get this from cloudy to clear again. And doing so, I'm starting to see clear, but I'm also seeing it has streaks of the cloudiness, just like some streaks of cloudy liquid. So I'll know this is done when it's all clear, back to what it was before I started stirring. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to stir this, and then I'll catch back up with you when it is clear enough for me to start working with. All right, so here's my batch, and it's back to clear. However, don't know if you can see, but there are bubbles. Now, the bubbles you can't avoid because you're mixing it in the air, right? These are air bubbles. And if I can't take the air out of the atmosphere, so there's going to be bubbles. But you want limited amount of bubbles, and that's the key. It's not bubbly all the way through like the first batch that I had. I wish I took shots of it, but I didn't. But this is a good batch. There's no cloudiness in it inside the mix. This is good. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour it in this tray, to which I can use to apply. I don't want to put this sponge inside. I can't, so you're going to use this tray to apply it. But when you're pouring it into that tray, you want to make sure you get every drop of that resin or that epoxy out of the cup, because the stuff is expensive and you don't want any to waste. So I'm going to go do that and get started on applying. So I'm just scraping this thing, and I want to scrape it for a little while, or for a few minutes, only because the last time I thought I scraped it all out and there was still about maybe a quarter of a teaspoon left inside that dried up and I didn't get to use. So as I said, I want to use every little bit that's in here. I don't want to waste any of it. So I'm scraping it the best that I can to get it all out. And that's the best that I can do. All right, stick is gonna obviously get sticky and gonna bond. So I'm gonna put it inside of the alcohol paper, or the alcohol wrap. I'm gonna make sure my brush isn't dirty. And now I'm gonna start applying. Alright, so as you saw, I was able to get both panniers done, 2 coats on both sides, and I was also had a little bit more glue left over to start doing the center console. That glue though is only good, it's only fresh for about 30 minutes, and after that it starts to bond and it's no good to work with after that. So I was struggling to get the last coat on the left side of the center console, but if I have to do another coat, I'll do so once I'm able to see what it looks like when it dries. That's going to wrap up the Builder's Corner for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please show us some love and the algorithms that you did and give us a thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. There's new content coming out each week on Monday and Fridays. Monday being the Bike Talk segment, or the Bike Talk series, and Friday being the Builder's Corner. We're going to be back again on Monday. I hope you have a great weekend, and as always, stay safe and ride easy. If you'd like to be part of our purpose, mission, and our journey, please consider becoming part of the Electron Rebels Bike Club. You can find links to the club in the description below. Ride easy.